You just got paid, and somehow, within a few days, you're stressed about money again. You worked hard this month, maybe overtime, maybe 2 jobs, maybe you didn't take a single real lunch break, and yet the number in your account is already smaller than it should be. No big purchases, no vacations, no new car in the driveway, just life. A few dinners out, a subscription here, a treat-yourself moment there. Small stuff, nothing crazy. So why does it feel like the harder you work, the less you keep? Here's the uncomfortable part. It's not because you're careless. It's not because you're bad with numbers. It's because working hard is quietly training your brain to spend hard too. And by the end of this video, you'll see the exact mechanism doing that to you. One most people never catch because it doesn't feel like a mistake. It feels like relief. Before we continue, this video is for educational purposes only. It is not financial advice. It explores behavioral patterns in spending and perception, not personal financial instruction. Now, let's get into it.
Think about the last genuinely brutal day you had at work. What did you do the second it was over? Order food instead of cooking? Buy something online while lying in bed just to feel like the day gave you something back? Say yes to a night out you couldn't really afford because you'd earned it. That's not weakness, that's a pattern. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. Pull up your bank statement from a stressful month and compare it to a calm one. The stressful month always costs more. Prices didn't change, you did. Or think back to your last raise. For a few weeks, it felt like breathing room. Then, somehow, your expenses caught up. A nicer apartment, a better car, small upgrades everywhere, all at once. 6 months later, you're earning more than you ever have, and just as tight as before. Here's another version of the same pattern. Maybe you don't even check your accounts that often because you tell yourself you're too busy for it. Too busy grinding, too busy building something. There's a strange kind of pride in that avoidance, like not looking is proof of how hard you're working. But not looking isn't discipline, it's just a debt you haven't opened yet. Here's the pattern underneath the pattern. The people who work the hardest are usually the ones who feel most entitled to spend, not because they're greedy, because in their head, the math feels fair. I gave this job 60 hours this week. I deserve something back. The problem is that something back rarely comes from your employer. It comes out of your own pocket. You end up paying yourself back for a job that's already paying you. And that second, invisible paycheck, the one made of takeout, upgrades, and small treats, is the one quietly keeping you broke. Psychologists have names for pieces of this. Not the whole thing, just the pieces. There's a well-documented effect called effort justification. The more something costs you, the more your brain needs to believe it was worth it. It's the same reason a brutal workout feels more satisfying than an easy one. Your brain assigns more value to things that cost it more. There's another one called moral licensing. Once you've done something disciplined, your brain quietly grants you permission to be reckless somewhere else. It's why the person who ran 5 miles this morning feels completely fine ordering dessert tonight. Discipline in one area becomes a receipt your brain uses to justify indulgence in another. And there's a third piece, decision fatigue. You spend all day being agreeable, professional, patient, controlled. Every choice, what to say in that email, how to handle a difficult coworker, whether to speak up in a meeting, draws from the same limited pool of willpower. By the time you get home, that pool is nearly empty. You don't want to make one more considered choice. You just want relief immediately. Put those three together, and you get something bigger than any one of them alone. Call it your shadow payroll. Here's how it runs. Every hour of effort you spend gets logged somewhere in your brain, whether you notice it or not. Every stressful call, every task you didn't want to do but did anyway, every ounce of self-control at your job. Your brain keeps score, and it expects a payout. Not from your boss, from you. If you don't consciously give yourself that payout, real rest, real recovery, real meaning, your brain finds a way to collect it anyway, usually around 9 p.m., phone in hand, cart already full. That's what most unnecessary spending actually is. Not a lack of discipline, a payment against a debt your brain feels you're owed for effort nobody else is going to repay. And this is exactly why willpower alone can't fix it. You can't out-discipline a system that switches on precisely when your discipline is at its lowest.
Here's where it gets worse. This mechanism doesn't stay the same size. It grows with you. The harder you work, the bigger the debt your brain thinks it's owed, which means every promotion, every raise, every level up in your career doesn't just raise your income, it raises your shadow payroll demand right alongside it. Say you get promoted. More money, yes, but also more meetings, more responsibility, more emotional labor managing people who used to be your peers. Your brain notices all of that new effort, and it wants to be paid for it. So somehow, within a few months, you found a nicer place, a slightly better car, small upgrades everywhere, and your account looks almost exactly like it did before the promotion, just with better stuff in it. That's the real reason lifestyle creep happens. It's not that people are careless with raises, it's that a bigger raise came from bigger effort, and bigger effort demands a bigger payout. Your brain isn't trying to sabotage you, it's trying to keep its books balanced in the only currency it understands, spending. This is also why it hits hardest exactly where you'd least expect it. Hard workers, high performers, people who take real pride in their discipline. Because once you see yourself as someone who's good with money, you stop questioning your purchases. You assume your spending is rational because you're a rational person. You worked for it. You're smart. You wouldn't buy something you couldn't justify. But that self-image is exactly what makes the shadow payroll invisible. You're not checking for it because you don't think you're the type of person who has one. Meanwhile, the debt keeps compounding. More hours, more responsibility, more decision fatigue, more silent payouts you never clock as spending. You clock them as deserved. Until one day, you're earning more than you ever have in your life, and somehow still broke. So how do you actually break this? Not with a budget. A budget manages money. This isn't a money problem, it's a payment problem. You need a different way to pay yourself back for effort, one that doesn't come out of your account. Here's the shift. Before you buy anything that wasn't planned, ask one question. Is this the thing I actually want, or is this a payout for a hard day? That single sentence does something powerful. It interrupts the automatic exchange between effort and spending. You stop letting your brain collect the debt without your permission. You step in as the accountant. But awareness alone isn't enough. You also need something to offer instead. So build what I'd call a recovery menu, a short list, written when you're calm, not depleted, of ways to feel rewarded that don't involve your card. 15 minutes with your phone off, a walk with no destination, calling the one friend who actually makes you laugh, an episode you've been saving all week. It doesn't matter what's on it. What matters is that it exists before you need it. So when your brain goes looking for a payout, there's somewhere else for it to go. And if the urge to spend still shows up strong, don't fight it in the moment. Just delay it. Give it till tomorrow morning. Willpower barely works at night after a full day of decisions, but mornings are different. The debt feels smaller, and most of the time, the urge has already passed. You're not trying to erase the need to feel rewarded for hard work. That need is real. It deserves an answer. You're just making sure the answer isn't always your bank account.
Here's what I want you to sit with. You're not broke because you're careless. You're not broke because you don't work hard enough. You might be broke because you work hard, and no one, including you, has figured out how to pay yourself back for that in a way that doesn't cost you money. Your bank account was never the problem. It's just where the bill keeps landing. The moment you start paying yourself back in rest, in recognition, in real recovery, is the moment your money finally gets to stay yours. If this made you see your own spending a little differently, that's exactly what this channel is for. Every week, I break down the hidden systems quietly running your financial decisions, the ones nobody teaches you because most people don't even know they're there. Subscribe if you want to keep spotting them before they spot you. And if you want to go further right now, watch Why Your Brain Loves Being Broke next. It picks up almost exactly where this one leaves off. I'll see you in the next one.